Well, folks out there, it is Titans Tube back at you with another season. Justin here, Jake. Good to see you again, man. We are going to be bringing the Titans coverage and action and all that good stuff for the 2022 season. Jake, are you ready? Are you excited for more football?
It's hard to believe that the season is already here. You know, as a football fan, I think I'm, well over a decade, over 10 seasons, really going through the slog of an NFL season. And then it comes like a new spring dawns every fall, which is weird to say, but football fans get it. And it always sneaks up on you no matter how many years I feel like you are into football fandom. All of a sudden you're having fun in the sun, summertime, and then, oh shit, training camp's here. And it's crazy, but I am very much ready for Titans football. The sting of the Bengals loss is almost gone. I don't think it's ever going to fully go away.
No.
But I'm as well recovered from that as humanly possible. So I have fully bought back into this Titans squad. I'm ready to run it back in 2022, and I hope you feel the same, Justin.
Beautifully said. Yes, I do feel the same. You know what really got me alerted, and it's now time to focus on the new football season. I got this in the mail.
Oh,
yes, a new Derrick Henry bobblehead, and it came with a crown.
That's great.
How about it, Jay?
Amazing. Yeah, there you go.
Just another set for the collection, and good grief, dude. I was just thinking, the king is back. We're going to get him fully healthy, hopefully back on the field. He was on pace for 3,000 yards last year before he broke his bone. Easily 3,000. So we're gonna make another run at it this year, Jake, with fully healthy Derrick Henry. Lots of things have been addressed in the offseason. This wide receiver room, this and that, and do we have problems on the offensive line? Who's going to step in? AJ Brown gone, Roger Saffold gone. But this rookie class, man, is kind of looking promising. And so what we kind of did was we don't want to jump the gun or anything. But the Super Bowl is definitely the expectation this year.
It should be, actually.
Yes. Yeah, honestly, the window's still there, I think, for sure. But how we kind of broke this down is we just want to give three things that we're going to kind of look for in this offseason, Jake.
Preseason.
Do you want? Yeah, preseason. Three things to look for this preseason going into the season. Things we'd like to see addressed or just how they develop, So, Jay, do you want to start us off with what you're looking for here?
Yeah, totally, dude. And yeah, it's the preseason for us too. We're getting reps with the ones right now. We're feeling things out. We're in training camp mode right now ourselves. So we'll see how we also progress throughout this preseason, Justin.
But like you said, we're like 10-year vets, watching the NFL. It's been longer for me. I'm much older. I'm much older than you. So, this should be a breeze to just kind of get back in the groove, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I got that vet mindset for sure.
That's good.
So we're going into this preseason. We have Baltimore, Tampa Bay, and I wish I was committed to the Arizona Cardinals. Thank you, Justin. I'm impressed with your knowledge of the preseason schedule. Thank you. Thank you. See, that's the kind of vet dynamic we need to keep going here. Yeah. But obviously, the Titans are kicking off their preseason in Baltimore tomorrow. We're filming this on Wednesday afternoon. As of right this very second, we don't know what high-profile wide receiver drafted in the first round is playing or not. I don't know who that might be, but obviously we don't quite know if Treylon Burks or any other. We know Derrick Henry's not playing, but we don't know the full scope of who's going to be sitting out this game in Baltimore. Justin, the first thing I'm looking for this preseason is to put some little juice in that Baltimore Ravens rivalry, because a lot of people have been mentioning this. The Ravens have a 20-game preseason win streak going. 20 games. That's a lot of preseason games to win in a row with just, your practice squad guys trotting out there. That's an impressive streak. I gotta give it to Baltimore there. But I would love to, the Titans and Ravens always have this dynamic of back and forth. And, I know it's not a 1-to-1 ratio. Baltimore beat the Titans at home in the 2020 playoffs. Are you saying get revenge? This game is as important as that 2020 wild card game at Nissan Stadium, where Lamar Jackson had the crazy QB run. This game is equally as important, Justin, tomorrow in Baltimore. It is crucial for the Titans to snap that 20-game winning streak.
It is. It surely is. There's no love lost there. I mean, the Ravens are probably the Titans' biggest rivalry, historically speaking. And yeah, if we can embarrass that team in a preseason game and run them off the field and cause players to look terrible and not get the job and not make the team, then that's great. That's a great thing for a Titans fan to want to root for. So yeah, you always want to get one over on Baltimore when you have a chance. I mean,
absolutely. If you're going to ruin the livelihood of a lower level Baltimore Raven, I mean, that's the best thing we can do in a meaningless football game. Obviously, I'm kind of kidding there, but anyways, I would love to see that preseason winning streak be snapped. Justin, what is your first thing to look for this preseason?
Man, that was such a good thing to bring up, because I forgot that they're like the preseason champs of the last decade or whatever. It's crazy. I kind of already teased it with kind of my intro. I started, just rambling, but I'm going to look for this offensive line, Jake. So we have yet to determine who's going to be our starting right tackle and left guard, I believe, because right tackle was a revolving door last year. David Quessenberry, did he start most of the games there? So I'm looking at, I guess, Jamarco Jones, who we brought over from the Seahawks. We have Dylan Radins. Who knows what we have in this Dylan Radins guy? I mean, second round pick last year, didn't really see any action of notes last year. And then we drafted Nick Petit-Ferrer, third round out of Ohio State. I didn't do a whole lot of digging on there, but are those kind of the top three guys that we're looking at to hopefully make some moves and take over here? Because, I mean, this is, and outside of them, too, I think this is a big year for Taylor Lewan. He needs to stay healthy, start all 17 games, and be on this offensive line that's kind of going into the season with some question marks. Ben Jones is still solid, but he's getting pretty old. He's getting up there in age. And then also you have Nate Davis, who is pretty solid, pretty solid right guard. So big year, I think, low under the radar big year for Taylor Lewan to come in. And if he can get back to that Pro Bowl level he was at when we had DeMarco Murray in 2017 and 18 when he was making Pro Bowls, that would be big for this offensive line. Because, I mean, this offense struggled big time whenever they were letting Tannehill get under pressure last year. So I'm looking for, I don't know how you can watch a preseason game and watch the offensive line and judge like how things are going there. But that's just one of my concerns and something to look for. Who's going to win these last two starting jobs on the O-line? Because that's, I mean, you're going to be blocking for Derrick Henry, and we're excited about Derrick Henry. So this offensive line is expected to kind of perform and be the bread and butter of this offense. So yeah, that's my first thing to look for, Jake.
I like it, Justin. I think you hit the nail on the head there. Outside of the young wide receiver group we have, I feel like the offensive line is easily the biggest question mark on this football team. And I feel like it's been a hallmark of the Titans franchise to have a decent to okay offensive line. And you're looking around the room and, you said it, Saffold's gone. Taylor Lewan really hasn't been the Lewan we've known him to be and rewarded him with a huge contract to be. He's been, you said, in and out of the lineup. So I like that viewpoint there. I have a lot of confidence in Nicholas Petit-Ferrer from Ohio State. As you said, he's done good things throughout camp, and I've heard great things in terms of his view of the game and how he learns his skill set and how he just goes about his business. So I have a lot of confidence in that rookie.
Yeah.
So I like you bringing up the offensive line, Justin. I'm going to parlay that offensive line into the rookie class as a whole. I felt like this was going to be your first pick, but you said it at the top. This rookie class is looking as promising as any rookie class I can remember in recent history for the Titans. Treylon Burks, obviously started a little not so great with his asthma and not being able to be on the field even for practices. But he's come out in training camp with his hair on fire, been performing really, really well. Roger McCreary, the second round pick out of Auburn as a defensive back, who we were scratching our heads at draft day. But he has come out and he's been practicing with the ones. He has been all over the field. And so he might be a rotational corner. And watch out, Caleb Farley. Yeah. This young guy out of Auburn might be coming to take that second cornerback slot opposite Christian Fulton. So it's going to be really interesting to watch those two guys. obviously you texted me earlier, Justin. This got me a little excited to watch the game tomorrow night. It is Malik Willis season. Now we know that Logan Woodside is the quarterback too, and Malik Willis, what is his role on the team going to look like this year? It's probably going to be a practice squad quarterback, or maybe they keep him just because they know teams are probably going to scoop him up if he gets cut. So they might keep 3 quarterbacks this year. We'll kind of see how that goes, but that's going to be the highlight of the preseason, is watching Malik Willis take these reps, watching him play in a Titans uniform, and seeing, if there's a future there for the Tennessee Titans post Ryan Tannehill. That is something very exciting, and something I feel like a lot of people are forgetting in the Traylon Burks discourse. And, I feel like Roger McCreary is getting a ton of headlines in camp. You're forgetting that the Titans have the quarterback possibly of the future sitting back there behind even Logan Woodside. So, it's always a weird feeling to be pumped up to watch the 3rd string QB, but in this case, very pumped up. And then also these pass catchers, Justin, I am so excited. Outside of Traylon Burks as a pass catcher, Chig Okonkwo at tight end, which we're hearing again great things out of as training camp goes on, and Kyle Phillips. Ooh. Trying to be everything that Adam Humphries was supposed to be for this team. That slot guy, 5-yard out, catch the first down on the sideline. He's going to be a first down machine. He's already developing chemistry with Ryan Tannehill. And, this is a guy we picked up in the 6th round, for Christ's sake. So, we'll see. We'll see how these young players can develop throughout the preseason. But is there a specific player you're looking at, Justin, in this rookie class, or is there just the whole group? It's just an exciting group to talk about.
Yeah, it is. It's funny, our minds think the same way, because I did have rookie class in general written down as my number 2 points. But then I kind of bled over from the wide receiver position, just watching how that develops. I don't know how much playing time Robert Woods is going to get, but it's nice to have a veteran, in that wide receiver room. That's a good pickup for J-Rob. And he's been looking, all reports are is that he's looking good. He's running just fine with the ones as expected. So hopefully he can be fully back from that ACL injury that he suffered last season and be ready to go 100% week 1. But certainly the most pressure is going to be on Traylon Burks, probably of this whole football team, because people have said it, of course. He's going to be looked at and judged with what A.J. Brown is doing for the Eagles this season, literally kind of bringing him in to replace him, who forced his way out with the trade. So lots of pressure coming in on Burks. And, we don't need him to be A.J. Brown necessarily, because, like you said, we've quietly brought in some nice pass catchers through the draft, those guys you mentioned there. And we have Austin Hooper at the tight end position as well, who I'm expecting to produce more than from what we got last year through Michael Pruitt, Jeff Swaim, and Anthony Firkser. Unfortunately, first down Firkser is no more, but didn't quite live up to be able to be re-signed by the Titans. But yeah, dude, and this is all my second point here too. And you mentioned Kyle Phillips, and it sounds like the hype is warranted and the hype is real. I mean, he's been running with the ones. You've seen him in the practice videos, and he looks like the part of a true slot receiver. And have we ever had that as a franchise on this Tennessee Titans team? We tried with Adam Humphries. He just couldn't stay healthy. He was good when he was on the field. Could you call Kendall Wright that? I mean, he wasn't really that pure, true slot receiver. Really, I mean, and we tried to make him a 1, and he lined up on the outside a lot too. So I don't know. It didn't work out with Kendall Wright. So maybe we found our guy in Kyle Phillips, a chain mover, a healthy Adam Humphries to come in and give this offense a much needed dynamic there. And then I'll shout out one more wide receiver in terms of watching wide receivers throughout this preseason. And one who I'm expecting to get a lot of playing time is C. McMath. Apparently, he's been impressing during practice. There's been tweets and whatnot of him just running streaks, long bombs, and quarterbacks are hitting him. And if he can come in and be that deep threat for us, that would be a huge thing to add to this offense. If he can just take the top off of defense, Tannehill launches it, that would be a great element to have. So looking forward to watching Racey McMath. And then, of course, Des Fitzpatrick. How's his development going to come along? He's probably going to see a lot of action. Had an issue with drops, especially last year in training camp. But didn't he and let's see, it was him and Caleb Farley, who I would like to get to soon. Won the offseason training camp award or something.
Yeah.
Tony Carter did too. I think it was those three guys. So hopefully, Des Fitzpatrick is motivated, coming in with a chip on his shoulder, and hopefully he's developed his skills. He's fine-tuned himself this offseason here. Because it would be great. It would be great if some of these guys can step up and give us some solid depth at the wide receiver position, because it really wasn't there for us last year with Julio Jones and AJ Brown always in and out of the lineup. Really made our offense stutter big time in those games when they weren't available. So we need this wide receiver class to step up and give Tannehill a lot of good, consistent options there.
I love all good. I love you brought up Racey McMath, because that was a player that even flew under my radar on my notebook sheet right here, that I've even kept tabs on, and we've seen it through Titan social media and the things that are being written about training camp. Racey McMath is very quietly putting together a great training camp, and talk about wide receiver depth. We just need one of these guys to step up maybe once or twice a game. The Des Fitzpatricks, the Racey McMaths, the, even going down to a Kyle Phillips. Just make a couple of plays a game. That's all we need from these lower level guys in the receiver room. And talk about old deep threats. Our old deep threat was Cam Batson. Okay. And it's funny that Racey McMath has changed his number from, I think he was 81, but he is now 13, Cam Batson's old number. So hopefully Racey McMath can be a much taller, much larger deep threat for the Titans than Cam Batson was, because I don't think you were lining up against, I'm probably taller than Cam Batson, if we're being honest. So yes, I would love to see Racey McMath come in and make some meaningful plays, play some meaningful snaps for this football team, and like you said, bolster that wide receiver depth. My last thing on the list, Justin, is something that I wrestled with, even writing down. I'm not superstitious. I'm a little stitious, but I don't even want to say it out loud. Even no injuries. Obviously, that's something you want to see throughout the preseason for every team.
I wrote it down too. I got you here, man. I'm backing you up. No
injuries. And I was thinking, okay, how am I going to talk about this no injuries talking point without trying to jinx it? Because the Titans have gone through camp so far with being on the good side of the injury conversation, Justin. And I don't want a repeat of last year.
See, incoming tweet, Schefter, Ryan Tannehill tears both ACLs in practice today. Out for the season, out for the next 3 seasons. Unreal. Crazy.
Well, I hope Malik's ready. No.
Malik Willis, step on in.
That was my biggest fear, just even talking about this over a Zoom call with you. I last year was so hellish for the Titans on a injury scale, the most injured team in NFL history, and they were the 1 seed in the AFC. Justin, imagine what they could have done as a healthy unit. And so it's absolutely hands down crucial. It kind of goes without being said, but it's the preseason. What all are you going to talk about? But it's absolutely crucial that the Titans make it through this preseason with the fewest amount of injuries possible, preferably none.
Yeah. Man, that would be a nice change up. Yeah, I feel like people, we talk about it every year, but it seems like people are just sleeping on the Titans when coming into this season. Like, we didn't just get the 1 seed with Derrick Henry missing half of the season, all kinds of injuries at wide receiver and on the defense. David Long Jr. was a key one. I mean, good grief. I mean, Jake, people are scoffing and laughing at the fact the Titans aren't coming in this year, and they should be expected to be another top 5 team in the NFL. I mean, I think we are going to be really good still. Yes, we lost AJ Brown, but there's a lot of what ifs and a lot of potentially good ifs. That's not even a thing. I'm just the players that we brought in to replace them. There's a lot of potential there with this draft class, and bringing in guys like Robert Woods. It's just, I think the biggest question is the offensive line. If we can give Tannehill the time, then our offense is going to be just fine. The running game should be there with Derrick Henry. Excited again with this rookie class. We didn't mention him, but Hassan Haskins at running back. Let's see the guy from Michigan come in and tote the ball. expecting him and Dontrell Hilliard and Henry to be the running back group going into this season. But I feel like the Titans are primed to have a third straight AFC South championship. You look at Houston, not there. Jacksonville, not quite there. Indianapolis, we'll see what happens, how Matt Ryan fits into that offense. But, I mean, is that enough for people to just be like Colts winning, predicting the Colts to win?
Yes,
they're the team.
Justin. I've been waiting. Oh, my God. I don't know. Do you have a third thing to look for in the preseason? Or was your third no injuries?
Mine was, I was actually going to do Caleb Farley. Just
okay,
a guy that comes in and he's got a lot to prove. He's the guy with the biggest chip on his shoulder probably to live up to his draft position from last year. And yeah, I was kind of looking for something to say about the defense, but you know what? I love this defense. And if there's anything to point out, it's probably this really young cornerback group, but very talented, a lot of value there. Christian Fulton, a second rounder, Britt McCreary, a second rounder, Farley, a first rounder. Elijah Molden looked good as a rookie, as a fourth rounder from last year. So really the only guy we're going to be looking to replace is Janoris Jenkins. And I think these guys can replace that productivity that we got from Jenkins. Just hopefully they can learn the game, learn the speed of the game, get their feet under them. So I'm looking for Farley to get his feet wet in these preseason games and to really show that he's the guy opposite of Fulton on the outside. Because like you said, McCreary could be right on his toes to take that job. But I think, with Caleb Farley winning that Vrabel offseason award, I think the coaches like him. He's trending in the right direction, and he's the guy that's motivated to lock in his spot this year. So that's my third thing I'm watching for.
I love that. And I'm right there with you. I'm lockstep with you. We're already talking about the young guy taking his job, and we've seen Caleb Farley play 1 quarter of regular season football for the Titans. And so he's just got to stay on the field. I mean, you drafted a guy with 2 back surgeries and obviously kind of a freak incident. He tears his ACL in the first action he gets in an NFL game. So it's just really tough. I think you're right. I think he does have a chip on his shoulder. He is trending at least well with coaches. And I would love to see him step up, because you said there's a ton of value in this cornerback room that, there's not a lot of names that are household names. That's typical of the Titans at every position, but not a lot of household names in the secondary or this defense, frankly. And again, I feel like I'm saying, you said it, Justin, but you hit the nail on the head. This defense is stacked, man. This defense is stacked, and if they can stay healthy, they are going to be an elite defense. Justin, I have a question for you. It was going to transition nicely, but I like that we got a Caleb Farley talking point in there. What are your expectations for the 2022 Tennessee Titans now that we are preseason eve? They're kicking off their first preseason game in Baltimore tomorrow at this point. What are your expectations? Because the Titans, it's the annual tradition of saying, oh, wow, the Colts brought in this absolutely mid-veteran to plug the hole that Andrew Luck left when he retired. This is their third quarterback they're on now. They tried old man Phil Rivers. He was fine. He got him to a first-round playoff exit, but they didn't win the division. Titans won the division. And then Phil Rivers retired. So they're like, let's try Carson Wentz. And Carson Wentz was spectacularly terrible. And they had a great, transcendent talent in Jonathan Taylor. And Carson Wentz couldn't even beat the 2-15 Jags, week 17, or I guess 18, to get in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So now, as as a team, the Titans are supposed to just roll over because 38-year-old Matt Ryan has made his way to Indianapolis, and he's going to be the savior of this franchise. He's another rental quarterback, Justin, that they're going to have for a year or two, and they're going to be in the same exact position they were this offseason. And so I don't understand. Like Matt Ryan was in the Super Bowl when I was in high school, Justin. I'm a long time out of high school, and that's the last time we've seen a really high-level Matt Ryan play. But all of a sudden, he puts on the blue and white for the Indianapolis Colts, and he's a Superman. I get so worked up about this every year, and how the Titans are slept on every single year, and I expect it. I read it and I roll my eyes, but when I start talking about it, I just flood, man. I just flood out. And so my expectation is absolutely the Titans are going to win the AFC South. I'm going to take that to the bank. If they stay healthy, if Tannehill stays upright, if Derrick Henry stays upright, this defense is good enough they're going to win the AFC South. And also the way this team is built, you think back to the 2020 defense where they were terrible, Justin, the worst third down defense like in NFL history, I think.
Yeah.
You think back to that squad and you were, these guys are terrible. And then they just absolutely blew up that side of the ball and came out in 2021 last season. And they were a great defense. They were incredible. There was a defense that feasted off of each other. And maybe there was old man Jenkins out there at the corner, but man, they held it together and they played cohesive football.
Yeah.
Now, when you look at, sorry, go ahead.
They could go out and set an NFL playoff record with 9 sacks and proceed to not play another game after that. Just break NFL records, but then going home because you didn't win. Yes, but feasting of the defense. Yes, continue.
The way the 2022 Tennessee Titans is built, they have their defense solidified from last season. And they looked at the offense and they said, wow, this really was disjointed and really was what plagued the 2021 Tennessee Titans. If they had the productive offense that Derrick Henry can bring to the table, they didn't have him last year.
Yeah.
If they could have that cohesive offense, they were world beaters last year. They had the 1 seed. They were ready to go to the Super Bowl, Justin. I think that's why the Bengals loss will never truly go away until the Titans do make another Super Bowl.
We beat Kansas City 27-3. This defense held the Chiefs to 3 points last year. We went into the Rams on LA on primetime and beat the crap out of them. We squeaked out a super thrilling game at home against the Bills on Monday Night Football. This team beat the NFL's best last year, and they let it slip away against the Bengals. So yeah, this team is ready to win a Super Bowl, I think, if they can stay healthy. Yet turn on Colin Coward. Oh, Titans. Yeah, they won the 1 seed last year. They know AJ Brown though. But the Colts got a Matt Ryan who's primed for a comeback year. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Titans probably, I see them going 8-9 out of nowhere. Like what?
That's just
what are you doing, dude? You get paid to do this. It's trash. It's terrible. It's garbage. We shouldn't be getting worked up over these things though, Jake. We know this team better than the national media. We know what to expect from them. And I think you're completely on point. I'm expecting another division title. And as long as we take care of these division games, I mean, if we dropped a game against Houston last year and then almost a second time when Davis Mills and Danny Amendola were carving us up. Well, where was the defense in that game? That was getting embarrassing with their second half comeback. But we got to take care of these the bottom feeders of this division, Jacksonville. Well, who knows what we're going to see? Trevor Lawrence, things could be clicking for him in year 2. I think Jacksonville should win a couple more games than they did last year, at least. I mean, they beat the Colts.
Actually, I don't hope.
Yeah. They need to stay down and always be down. But if we can take care of them too, and at least split against the Colts, I know we've swept them like 1 or 2 years in a row now, or maybe it's
no. We've been winning that Thursday night debacle in 2020.
Oh yeah.
So 3 of the last 4. We'll take 3 out of the last 4.
Yeah, 3 out of the last 4. But if we can just split them and then take care of business against the Jags in Houston, and yeah, we should be able to lock down this division. I don't know about another 1 seed though. I mean, we do have a tough schedule. We play the AFC West division, who's pretty stacked with great quarterbacks, and they just got Devontae Adams from the Packers. The Broncos just got Russell Wilson from the Seahawks. So those are going to be some tough games. We play the Bills again. We play the Bengals again, who come back to Nissan Stadium. Good Lord. Gosh, I don't know if I can go to that game. I'm just going to get triggered if we can't beat them.
You're going to see the striped helmets and just flash back like, oh my God.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I'm rambling, but I'm expecting this team to be good. Like I said, a top 5 team, a division winner. We should be hosting a playoff game come January. Again, that's the hope. That's the expectation. I think this team's Super Bowl window is still there. That we may see some drop off and maybe wide receivers, maybe offensive line. Those position groups still have something to prove for this team. But I think as good as this defense is, we're going to stay in a lot of these games. I mean, we had no business winning a couple games last year because of how awful the offense was playing, but the defense kept us in it and grinding it out. So I think this team can lean on this defense, and we should be able to win enough games for a 3rd straight division championship. I don't know if that's ever happened in the Oilers franchise history, But that would be exciting to see. But can we please win a freaking playoff game now? I mean, we're 2 straight years of one and dones. That's I can't handle that anymore, man. I need to see more.
Third time's the charm, Justin.
Third
time is the charm. And you said it. This team is built to win. This team is built to win now. And if they don't win the AFC South this year, total disappointment. I'm willing to just say that. And
if we get in as a wild card, though, it seems like we do better in the playoffs as a wild card.
When we're doubted. The Titans play better when they are slept on and doubted. So that 1 seed really kind of messed up the psychology we had going. But anyways, as far as the playoff goes, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. We can't even talk about playoff expectations until the Titans win the AFC South. Well, it's preseason. So we need to focus on
this is a preseason
winning the division.
Yeah.
And, when January comes around, it's the same for every team that has made the playoffs, Justin. It's win 3 or 4 games in a row and go collect your ring. It's all about just stringing together wins at the right time of year. And that's how you win a Super Bowl. So hopefully this team can get it done. Justin, do you have any closing sentiment for this preseason preview? We are going to be back on regular preview recap episodes. We are going to be, I won't say axing our NFL pick series, but we're going to be kind of stapling it on at the end of our game previews. So there'll only be 2 videos a week this season. But as it goes, Justin, do you have any closing statements or just wonderful final thought?
It's just good to be back. And we thank you guys for tuning in and giving us a listen or a watch or however you take in our content. We just like talking about football. We're just 2 extremely intelligent, smart, good looking,
handsome. Yeah, absolutely.
Man, it's just the biggest Titans fan. We're not professionals. We don't get into the X's and O's like that. There's other great content creators that do that. We just kind of give reactions from a hardcore fan perspective. We cry with you, we celebrate with you, and hopefully we'll be doing a lot more celebrating. Unless we're crying tears of joy at a Super Bowl win, we'll do that with you as well. But can't wait to follow this team this year, man. Titans football it's very frustrating, but we love it. We love it. It can be heartbreaking sometimes, but man, times are good right now. It's a good time to be a Titans fan. We are winning a heck of a lot more football games than we have in decades past, honestly. So feels good. I'm excited for the season, Jake. And stay tuned for all of our videos this season.
Love it. That is a great way to put a bow on this video. I am Jake. That is Justin. We've been Titans Tube. Like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. That is the king. Oh no, his crap. Chin up.
He's been dethroned.
It fell in my
drink. It fell in my drink. That's a bad omen, Jake.
That is a bad omen. Oh, geez. All right, cut the vid.
Right, cut it.
We'll see you guys when the season starts rolling around. We might see you one more time before that first week 1 preview. Yet to be determined, but we will see you when football season starts. Feels great to be back. See y'all later.
Oh yeah.